Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from the Daily Wire. This is dated July 25th, and it's one of those things that's going to be a wow, what a coincidence sort of thing. And you probably noticed that I sound a lot better on this. It's because I'm recording from my phone. My microphone sounds even worse after I did some test recordings than it has before. So we're switching gears here and doing things just a little bit different, but I'm glad I'm able to sound better, and I might just continue doing it this way going forward. So let's go through this article here. It is entitled, Pilot of Spanish Plane That Expelled 50 Jewish Children Trained the 9/11 Hijackers, Including the Ringleader. And the subheadline says, from start to finish, we kept wondering why they called the police, a Christian passenger stated. So I don't know if you heard about this. This happened, I think, just a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago at most. And it was a Spanish flight where a whole bunch of Jewish children and teenagers, as it says here, were kicked off of a Spanish flight for what turns out to be basically no reason at all. So let's get into it here. But again, there's that huge coincidence you heard in the title. But it says, the pilot who kicked roughly 50 Jewish children and teenagers visiting Spain off a flight from Valencia to Paris trained two of the 9/11 hijackers, including Mohammed Atta, the ringleader of the plot that led to the deaths of 3,000 Americans. So what the hell are the odds of that? And whoever found that out, I don't know how you did, but wow, okay. It says, Vueling, if I'm pronouncing that right, Airlines confirmed that Ivan Chiravella was the pilot who removed the Jewish teenagers from a Wednesday flight. And by the way, someone took a picture of the cockpit and he had a Palestine flag in it, so just to let you know where his allegiances lie. It says, the children who were attending summer camp were on their way to Paris. It says, many of the children were wearing tzitzit and Star of David symbols, and their singing is said to have been consistent with customs of Jewish youth groups, Israel National News reported, adding, flight crew reportedly asked the children to stop singing. When they did not comply, local police were called. Officers instructed the group to place their cell phones on the ground to prevent the incident from being recorded. It says Chiravella had previously made headlines after his realization that he taught Mohammed Atta and Marwan al-Shehi to fly at Jones Aviation prior to the attacks of 9/11. A year before the World Trade Center attacks, Chiravella flew with the two future hijackers nearly every day for several months, the Jewish Chronicle reported. And this is in Spanish, so I can't read that. I mean, I could read it, but it would be very bad Spanish, but this is probably what the translation is here. It says, Ivan Chiravella, originally from the Canary Islands and a Vueling pilot since 2006, operated the flight, the airline shared. Throughout his 19-year career at the airline, he has accumulated more than 12,500 flight hours, covering routes connecting to more than 30 countries. In addition to his role as captain, Ivan Chiravella, like many pilots, also works as an instructor for aviation professionals at an independent flight school, the airline posted. So they're hiring the best over there. I don't know how you can... I mean, yeah, I guess I was going to say I don't know how you could get hired if you're found to have trained the 9/11 pilots, but I doubt he knew that at the time. So, but it was kind of, I was going to say, how could they do that? But they wouldn't have known. It says a group leader was reportedly thrown to the ground, handcuffed, and taken into custody when she protested the way police had intervened. She was later released after signing a non-disclosure agreement, according to witnesses, the Israel National News noted. That sounds a little odd. Why did she have to sign that, unless they don't want to get found out about something? So, as a mother of one of the children told I-24 News, that flight staff threatened him for singing in Hebrew. If you continue, we will call the police, she said the staff told him. So now we're getting Jews thrown off planes for singing. And I mean, it's like, if you're being loud, I get it. But if it's like, you're just like, it doesn't even sound like there's loudness complaints. It's just, they just wanted them to stop singing. Okay. The airline issued a statement saying that a group of teenagers displayed disruptive and confrontational behavior, adding, the cabin crew was alerted that the group of teenagers was tampering with passenger safety equipment, posing a high risk to the aircraft, passengers, and crew. These actions included attempts to grab life jackets, tamper with overhead oxygen masks, and remove the high-pressure oxygen cylinder, conduct that potentially poses a serious hazard in the cabin. As with any other incident involving safety, the captain was forced to request the intervention of the civil guard. I guess that's their police over there or something. Anyway, or the TSA, their version of TSA, I don't know. So after assessing the situation, the civil guard proceeded to disembark the group to safeguard the safety of the remaining passengers, the airline stated. And the problem with it is that I think a lot of the stuff the airline said happened didn't actually happen. It says, but testimony came from at least one of the children that the airline was not telling the truth. And from Hen Mazig, who is someone you should follow if you're paying attention to basically stuff that's going on against Jews in the world. He documents a lot of it. So he wrote, breaking, one of the French Jewish teenagers thrown off a plane in Spain testifies about what happened and what was said to cause such a reaction. And I'm not going to play that because I don't know how that's going to work with my new little setup here. Plus, it's probably in French because I think she was French. So it says, in addition, a passenger on the flight who was a religious Christian seated in the 8th row said the children behaved politely and there was no reason for concern. And that's actually the end of my finger slipped there and I hit the button. That's why they just skipped there. So this sort of Solomon here says, 50, just in here. Yeah, it says, one of them simply said the word limot, meaning the days in Hebrew. And I think, that was what I thought I heard too, is that they just said a word in Hebrew and someone recognized it was Hebrew and they just went, they're Israeli, and they're not Israeli, they're French. They're just Jewish. And then that's what got them kicked off. And I started seeing, after I saw the initial reports, which was what you saw above here with them, the airline saying they were like tearing the plane apart. I started seeing things that people on the plane, other passengers were like, they weren't doing anything. And we were all wondering what was going on. So I guess pick which side you're going to take in this one. But the reason I brought it up isn't to go over what the kids did. It was just to mention that the pilot trained the 9/11 hijackers. Like, again, what a small world, and doesn't really make the airline look particularly good either. But there you go. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.